This is a download from NEWSTALK 106 to 108. To download other programmes, or for more information, go online to newstalk.ie.
I understand that almost 10,000 electricians will next month vote to hold industrial action over pay. They want to get paid an additional €2.49 per hour. Joining me now to explain why they're taking this strike action is Eamon Devoy, General Secretary Designate of the TEEU. Eamon, welcome to the programme.
Good afternoon, George.
Are you going to go on strike?
Absolutely. We have a problem. The problem is that the employers have walked away from a registered employment agreement that's been in existence now since 1990, and the National Joint Industrial Council, which has run through the government since the early 30s. And the agreement has stood the test of time, both in the good times and the bad times in the past. And the employers are now using this as an excuse to the current climate to walk away from the agreement. It's just not acceptable.
But Eamon, hold on. There's got to 500,000 people unemployed. This agreement, when it was signed in 1990, nobody thought that we were going to be in the greatest depression since the 1920s. Like, we are people who would die for an electrician's job, let alone getting an increase. Like, what about what's happening in the real world here? Like half the working population is taking cuts. Trade unionists in RTE voted to take a cut.
Well, the reality here is that the electrician's pay is determined outside of all of the national agreement processes. There's a specific arrangement for the electrician. Just bear with me now.
All right.
There's a specific arrangement for how the pay is determined for electricians. The last pay increase was paid to them in 2007, and it's a reference period for 1st of September 2005 to 1st of September 2006 that determined the rates of pay for the electricians in 2007. So the current rates of pay for electricians is rates of pay back to 2005. Nobody in this economy has waited that long for a pay increase.
But everybody's gone back to 2005. That's the point. The value of our houses is going back to 2005. Like that's where we are going. And it gives none of us any pleasure. But if an agreement is based that you get an increase, that the cost of living is going up, does it not apply in the round that if prices are going down, and where does preservation of work going? I have to say that I don't understand it, Eamon. I find it incomprehensible.
Well, the electricians find it incomprehensible that the employers, not only are they not sitting down to talk about negotiating a pay solution to this problem, having the Labour Court having recommended to the parties that they do so, they're refusing to do that, and they want to go further, and they want a 10% pay cut in the 2007 rate of pay. They also want to alter the agreement to the extent where they want to reduce apprentices' pay. They want to cut shift pay and overtime pay. There's no employer in the economy going after employees to the extent that the electrical employers are, and it's just not acceptable. And the electricians won't have it, and they're going to stand up for themselves, and they're going to stand up for themselves in large numbers on the 6th of July.
How many unemployed electricians do you think there are in Ireland?
Well, I'm not too clear about that because it's impossible to know the number of electricians in Ireland. We tried to do that on many occasions by looking at the number of forced apprenticeships and so on, but so many people leave the country as soon as they come out of their apprenticeship to go to Australia, New Zealand and all over the globe. So it's actually quite impossible to understand. We have about 10,500 members on our books who are registered electricians, and there are none of them coming in and signing off as being unemployed in our union at the moment.
Well, you are extraordinarily lucky. I don't know any other...
Our membership in our union has gone up by over 600 since January of this year.
Name another...
Other unions that are losing members hand over fist. We seem to be in a lucky position, but we are in the position we're in. Over 600 additional members since the beginning of the year.
Would you agree that you must be the only trade union in Ireland that has more and more of its members going into work?
Well, all I know is this, that we have a substantial number of people working in industry who are being badly treated by their employers, and we're saying that as far as we're concerned, enough is enough. We've been trying to conclude this business when the employers agreed to an increase on the 1st of April 2008. A small group of non-aligned contractors injuncted the Labour Court from dealing with the matter. They took proceedings against our union into the High Court. They've lost both of those cases, and it's taken this long to come back out to the other end of that process. And in the meantime, small number of greedy employers are trying to have our members work extra hours for nothing, or have our members work for less pay. And they're targeting individual electricians, and the individual electricians are saying, this is not an individual issue, this is a collective issue. Our agreement is about all the electricians under a collective agreement having common terms and conditions of employment, and they've no intention of giving that up.
Well, now I have to say, this is the one area I agree with you. I don't think it is an issue about an individual, and I would fight as much for an individual electrician who was victimised as I would disagree with you on this particular issue. But yes, it is about an agreement negotiated by a trade union on behalf of all its members. I agree with that. But trade unions in every industry in the land are finding that they are working in a different environment.
The Labour Court has considered the matter. The Labour Court has recommended to the three parties involved in this dispute, two employer bodies and the TEEU, who are the three parties to the national agreement, that they sit down and negotiate an appropriate pay increase based on three things: the terms of the actual agreement itself, the terms of towards 2016, and the state of the economy. We've met the employers on 3 occasions since that Labour Court recommendation is issued, and they refuse to engage with us other than to say that they're under instructions from Tom Parlin that they want a 10% pay cut. Well, I know what my answer is to Tom Parlin on the 6th of July. Tom Parlin is not getting his 10% pay cut, and his industry is grinding to a halt until such time as he applies the appropriate terms under the agreement.
Sorry, hold on. Did I hear you right? You're suggesting that the construction industry is grinding to a halt. I thought it was past tense, not present tense. I thought it had ground to a halt.
Absolutely.
What houses have been built?
But it's not only houses.
Who's building?
It's not only houses. You know, your own rugby ground now is under reconstruction. That won't be under reconstruction after the 6th of July. That'll be coming to a halt as well.
Exactly. That is exactly true. That like infrastructure is slowing down. Houses are slowing down. I hope it keeps fine for you, I have to say.
In all due respect, now we have a team of about 18 people at the moment working full time on this dispute. We have a list of major construction sites, not house building, major construction sites in this country, about 200 so far we've established, right? And we've people reporting to us every day on additional sites and additional sites. All of these sites are going to be affected. It means some of the companies that are involved in manufacturing are extending their business. There's Microsoft, there's Intel, there's other big companies like that extending their businesses at the moment. There's a lot of construction going on there. There's a lot of power stations being built. There's the Corrib gas field. And there's a whole lot of other activity going on. And we have a list of all of those places, and all of those places will be affected on the 6th of July.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. The General Secretary Designate of the TEEU, Eamon Devoy.